Welcome to Helldivers, but this time we're only taking meta equipment with us just to see how easily we can get through a mission on the highest difficulty solo. And safe to say, I got a lot of kills. Now, as someone with over 2,000 hours in this game and over 1 million total kills, I have a pretty good idea of what's good and what's not. So with that information, let's go over the loadout. With the stratagems, we're taking the Orbital 380 Barrage to clear out heavy bug nests without us having to do much. Orbital Napalm Barrage to do the same thing, but instead of using it on bug nests, we're using it against bug breaches to get a lot of kills. The supply pack to keep all of our ammo, stims, and grenades full at all times, basically becoming a walking ammo stash. The Stalwart, which is a light machine gun to shred swarms of bugs when they get too close. Primary, gotta go with the explosive crossbow. It can 1 to 2 shot most bugs, close up bug holes, and even destroy objectives from over 100 meters away. For the secondary, we're bringing the Ultimatum, a high explosive grenade-like pistol to blow up all of the heavy enemies, and when you combine it with the supply pack, you can fire a lot of these. Now, grenade-wise, gas grenades is the best option. It'll confuse bugs and do a lot of damage to them. For the armor, we're actually taking the starter one, medium armor with extra padding, so we don't have to sacrifice movement speed to be tanky, and we can avoid being one-shotted by impalers, which gets very annoying after a while. And lastly, vitality enhancement for the booster to further make us more tanky. So the first thing we do is land right outside of the mega nest. This is the largest and one of the hardest objectives to do, so I figured we'd cross it off the list right away. We get down the resupply, the supply pack, and the stalwart to get our guy all fitted out for the mayhem that's about to unfold. Now we run up to the mega nest, close up a single bug hole with the crossbow, and then call in the Orbital 380. This is going to close up some more bug holes for us. Not guaranteed that it'll close up many, but there's also a high chance of it killing the heavy enemies that guard the nest inside. So we fall back so we don't get hit by the barrage, toss a couple gas grenades, kill a few bugs with the stalwart, and then the bug breach gets called in, and this is where things start to pick up. We toss in the Orbital Napalm Barrage, a few more gas grenades to keep them within range of the barrage so they don't escape it, and this combo is just decimating everything that comes out of that breach. But we still have to worry about the heavies that are just roaming around, like this random charger that tried to flank me and fail, or this Bile Titan that survived the barrage but didn't survive my little pocket nuke called the Ultimatum. Once the barrage and gas cleared up, we finish off the remaining chargers and bugs and dived right into the mega nest. For the most part, there's barely anyone left in here, which is perfect because now it's super easy to close up the bug holes. We did run into 2 impalers, but the crossbow and ultimatum made really quick work of them, like they weren't a problem at all. And at that point, we finish off the rest of the nest and decided to head to the next objective, a Bile Titan nest. Before actually getting into the nest, we call down a resupply to top off on our ammo, and you never know how many grenades, stims, or ultimatum rounds you're gonna need when approaching this type of nest. And instead of running straight in there myself, we called in another Orbital 380 to close up the Titan hole and cause a bunch of destruction because there's also a bunch of other bugs and bug holes in there that can be closed up. Then this Alpha Commander kept trying to escape, but I just kept knocking him back with a crossbow so he couldn't leave. But as I started to reload, I noticed he called in a second bug breach and a Bile Titan started steamrolling straight towards us. I immediately threw a Napalm Barrage, a bunch of gas grenades to deal with the breach, and waited to line up the perfect angle so I could one-tap this Titan in the face with the ultimatum. Super satisfying. We then ran back towards our supplies and started tossing a bunch of gas grenades everywhere, mainly to clear out whatever bugs that might have escaped that double orbital barrage bombardment, and since we're going to resupply, might as well use up everything. While we were waiting for the barrage to end, we also spotted a spore tower in the distance. This was a little too far away to snipe with the crossbow, unfortunate, but I knew we could take it out later with no problem at all. They're really easy to destroy. Getting back to the Titan nest, we ran in there and the only thing that was left was a single bug hole and a hive guard that decided to come out at the worst time possible. Well, for him at least. So that was another objective down, and we still had a lot more to do. Instead of running to the next bug nest, we decided to head to extraction. Not because we were leaving just yet. Oh no, there's still a lot more bugs we gotta take care of, believe me. But because it was on the way to the next objective. I wanted to drop a resupply there since I know I'm gonna end up back here at the end and I'll need to defend this position to extract, so having more ammo to do so would make it a lot easier. And I also didn't need any for myself at that moment, so I knew it was the perfect setup. While heading south to the next 3 objectives that were all close to each other, we found a random Titan just walking around by himself and had to give him the ultimatum special. A little ploop on the noggin takes him out. And since we're using such a powerful loadout, I also decided to fight every single bug I found, including the ones at points of interest, like these 2 chargers I found guarding some samples and supplies. But the thing is, I don't need the supplies or samples, so this was strictly an extermination run. After after dealing with those muchachos, we ran into a hunter and pouncer patrol that was kind of stuck between these small mountains, so I just hit them with a few crossbow rounds and a gas grenade. But that was until I heard a stalker trying to sandwich me between them from behind. I've never switched the Stalwart so fast before in my life and completely shredded it with max RPMs. 1150 rounds per minute can do a lot of damage. While that was happening, the pouncers managed to close the gap, and even though I was shredding them with the LMG, they still managed to get off another breach. Knowing there was a stalker lair somewhere behind me, I tossed a couple of gas grenades and an orbital napalm barrage to deal with the breach while I went searching for the stalker nest. Luckily, it wasn't too far away and only one of them came out. Not that it would have been hard to deal with them, I just don't like the idea of knowing there's a massive bug out there that's lurking around to try and assassinate me. You know, not great vibes. We then returned to the bug breach to see what was happening, and it turns out a Titan and a Charger managed to survive it. One quick ultimatum finished off the Charger and damaged the Titan a little bit. The second shot directly hits the Titan and he's still going strong. A third shot is fired now and he's still just rampaging towards us, and I'm completely out of supplies, but not out of options. We get underneath him and give him the same treatment we gave to the Stalker. 1150 RPMs right from underneath, shredding its insides. It got slumped and that was the end of that fight. Time to call in the resupply, and we also noticed there was a medium bug nest right below us, and the Orbital 380 just happened to be back off of cooldown. So as you could guess, we tossed that right in there and let it wreak havoc on anything and everything caught in the blast radius. Luckily, there was also another bug nest around 90 meters or so away from the Orbital Barrage, so we could take care of that without getting hit by a shell. I mean, it's hard to consider this a bug nest when there's only one bug hole and it's just being guarded by a handful of alpha commanders and hunters, but still, nonetheless, we gotta carry out the mission. Now remember how I said there was a spore tower a little bit ago? Yeah, we're now close enough to it where we can take it out with exactly 7 crossbow shots. Takes barely any resources to get it done, it's pretty much a free objective. We then head to the medium nest where we toss that orbital barrage on top of to find out that there's only one bug hole left, and like that hive guard from earlier, a couple of pouncers made the same mistake by coming out of it. With that out of the way, the closest objective to us was a LiDAR station. After completing this, it would mark all of the side objectives on the map to make sure we don't miss anything, because we're also going for a 100% clear run. There's actually a pretty big group of bugs waiting for me at the station. Even though I was blasting them with the ultimatum, the Stalwart, the crossbow, hitting them with everything, they still managed to get off another breach. As usual, we stick to our plan of tossing a napalm barrage and some gas grenades at the breach to take them out, but what I didn't realize is there was a hunter patrol flanking me on the left side from the bottom of this hill. I didn't see them coming at all, so I started spamming even more gas grenades before switching to the Stalwarts because I knew they were going to close the gap, and I didn't feel like blowing myself up with the crossbow. You know, not dying is kind of on my priority list, but we'll see what we can do about that. The Stalwart combined with the barrage and gas grenades was putting in absolute work, getting us an 86 kill streak and fully wiping out everything. We then finished with the LiDAR station showing us everything on the map. The only side objective left was taking out a Shrieker nest, and we're just going to do the same thing we did to the Spore Tower, blowing it up with the crossbow from a far distance once we get somewhat closer. Since the Shrieker nest is still a bit away, we're going to start heading towards one of the main objectives, and apparently a hunter patrol had the same idea. They weren't really a threat or anything, more like a small hurdle to get over. The Stalwart, once again, was just slaughtering all of them with ease. But then another patrol, an Alpha Commander patrol to be exact, joined in on the fight, and they actually managed to call in yet again another bug breach. Same thing as before, orbital napalm barrage and gas grenades start crushing all of the smaller bugs that come through, and then a Bile Titan slips by and gets taken out with a few ultimatums. But now a bigger issue arrives. Once I start up the main objective, another breach is going to get called in, and we don't have the orbital napalm barrage because we just used it not even 30 seconds ago. We're completely relying on the supply pack and Stalwarts. As soon as the orange smoke appeared, I started yeeting gas grenades left, right, and center, trying to cover the entire area of the bug breach while spraying the Stalwarts. There were so many bugs, I didn't even have to aim. Just firing in that general direction was getting me so many kills. The hunters did manage to push me back a bit. I think that was a random patrol that flanked me again, but Stalwart still remained a godsend in all these situations. We finished up the objective, took out another hunter patrol that was pushing me from behind, started blasting a bunch of bugs at a few points of interest we came across. There's not too many bugs in those points of interest, maybe like 4 to 5, but as I said before, this is an extermination mission. Everything is going down, including another bug breach that got called in. I didn't get a big kill streak here or anything, and I think that's because a lot more heavy enemies spawned instead, and the barrage still took them all down except for another Bile Titan that was left for the ultimatum. Ultimatum. I swear the Napalm Barrage does kill Titans sometimes, just not these times apparently. After getting through that bug breach, we brought ourselves to the second main objective where we had to call in another resupply to help deal with the next breach that was about to happen. Exact same thing as the first main objective. And we noticed we had the perfect opportunity to take down that Shrieker nest before even seeing any Shriekers at all. We started unloading the crossbow into it, taking down each tower one at a time until we got the objective complete notification. Now normally I'd start doing the main objective and move on, but I saw that there was another bug nest nearby and I had the Orbital 380 off cooldown, so I ran over there, found out it was a Bile Titan nest, tossed in the 380, ran back towards the main objective. Bile Titan wanted to follow me back to the objective as well, took him out and pretty much let the Barrage fully take care of that nest all by itself. In the meantime, I started up the objective and the breach got started. This one felt very different though. Sure, we didn't use the Napalm Barrage and wipe them all out, but we were still holding our ground just fine with the supply pack and Stalwart. It almost felt like the bugs didn't stop spawning in. I kept blasting everything that got thrown at me, hunters, alpha commanders, and a bunch of chargers. They literally ate through all of my supplies, and then the unthinkable happened. Another bug breach gets called in. I thought I was going to be a goner here, until I realized I had the Orbital Napalm Barrage back off of cooldown, so I tossed that in, watched it incinerate everything it touched, pulled down a new supply pack since I couldn't get back to my supplies, blew up a smelly charger, and then had a few impalers start ragdolling me. These guys are terrifying because you never know if they're just going to toss you in the air and send you to oblivion or flat out insta-kill you. We started working our way around and noticed two of the three impalers still alive, so we took them out nice and easy with the crossbow and ultimatum. Finished off the second objective and then headed towards the second last bug nest. We had the Orbital 380 back off cooldown, tossed that inside the nest, and it took it out just like how it did with the Bile Titan nest. Barely even went anywhere near it and got objective complete. Nice. All that was left was the main objective and a small bug nest at around 10 minutes to extract. If everything goes perfect, we can make it out just in time. I was planning out exactly how I was going to set up for the last objective, because when you start it up, you don't fight a single bug breach, you have to fight 3 of them. So I figured I would get to the area and start clearing out all of the bugs in sight before I get started. They ended up calling in another bug breach, but I had a really nice choke point on the corner of this rock, so I just kept cutting them down with the crossbow and gas grenades until the Orbital Napalm Barrage was ready to finish the job. I ended up falling back to get inside the objective area from another spot, also saw another Titan survive the Napalm Barrage again. However, this one was a lot weaker than the other ones we had come across. We managed to finish him off with just the crossbow. Not that saving ammo would make a difference here. We're gonna get down the resupply and start throwing everything we have at those bug breaches. So the plan was, since a bug breach is gonna happen right in front of us and to the right of us, we toss a gas grenade on both areas of the breach. Once we had the Orbital 380 back off of cooldown, we'd toss that on the breach happening in front of us and then start focusing on the bugs that were flanking us. Once we created a little bit of breathing room, we started up the second part of the objective to get another breach called in. I wanted to get as many of these active at the same time so the Orbital 380 can chew through majority of the bugs before it ran out. We also kept spamming gas grenades in every direction because we had a bunch of ammo from the supply pack and the resupply. By the time we were able to activate the third bug breach, the Orbital 380 Barrage had run out and we were completely on our own. Now I say this like it's an issue, but realistically, even if we had another 2 or 3 bug breaches get called in, I have zero doubts that we would continue to steamroll them with the rest of our loadout. That is just how powerful this setup is. Also, if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and let me know if you like this style of video. But anyways, after we got the objective complete pop up on our screen, we continued to clear out the rest of the area. We weren't leaving any survivors around. Didn't matter how big or small they are, even if they started to run away like the alpha commanders, they were toast. Second last thing for us to do now is destroy the last remaining bug nest. We headed towards there and saw it was another medium-sized nest, and the perfect moment in this situation happened. After I tossed in the Orbital 380, they also called in a bug breach, so I decided to double my offer and give it to the next person by also giving them an Orbital Napalm Barrage. These guys were getting hit with a double whammy, exploding and getting lit on fire, or maybe the other way around, but regardless, they were getting smoked, and anything that did make it out had to come face to face with my little friend, the Stalwart. Once the fire and bombs cleared up, surprisingly, there were still 2 bug holes left. I figured everything around here would get leveled, but apparently not. I mean, it's not an issue, more so just an interesting observation. And with everything completed, we had our final goal ahead of us. Head to extraction, hold out, and get out of here. The run to extraction was honestly somewhat calm. We just kept shooting at random bugs at points of interest, easily clearing them out, looking for any patrols that might wander in our direction, but not much came. Well, at least until we got to extraction. extraction. We ran into a smelly charger with a small patrol, but the thing is, when we blew him up, he blew up pretty much all of the other bugs around him. So that ended the fight really fast. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bummed out that we didn't get another breach called in to have a really heated extraction, because those are always the most fun. But instead of just waiting a full 3 minutes for Pelican 1 to come pick us up, I started running around looking for another bug patrol to get them to call in a bug breach, because the massacre wasn't done yet until we left the planet. So we had a few minutes left. We did find one patrol, and I was so ecstatic to see them call in reinforcements, and I gave them everything. The buffet was open. We tossed both the Orbital Napalm Barrage, the 380, gas grenades, and ultimatum shots like if I had infinite ammo, which I kinda did because I had 2 resupplies here, my supply backpack, and another supply pack just chilling on the ground. Ammo was not an issue, the lack of targets was. It honestly ended really fast. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the bugs went back into the hole to warn the other ones that some madman with nearly infinite ammo was blowing up every single thing that came out of that hole. It was all around an amazing experience. We boarded Pelican 1, got out of there, took a look to see all of the objectives that we had completed, and then saw our score. I had close to 1,500 kills with a perfect accuracy rating of 50% somehow. And most importantly, didn't die a single time. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and to let me know if you guys want more videos with this type of editing. But anyways, see you guys.